Hello everybody, I'm Martha Kennedy and I'm one of the CCSs with Nexion Healthcare. Today we wanted to talk to you a little bit about your role as a CNA and the pivotal points that you can bring to our nursing staff about changes you see with the residents. We want to really focus today on bowel habits and what you can report to the nurses. Now, we know as CNAs, you're the heart of the building, you're with our residents all the time, and you notice subtle changes because you spend so much time with them. Now, just speaking about bowel habits and patterns, you probably have taken care of the patient for a little while, and you know some patients may have a bowel pattern of going once a day, maybe some twice a day. But you know, they change a little bit with us because our residents that are short-term may have come in for a fractured hip where they're taking medications, or maybe they're not as mobile. So these things are important to note, that we really have to let those nurses know if there's any changes. What I mean by that is a resident feeling nauseous? Is a resident not having a bowel movement? Because you know you do write those down every day. Has the stool seemed a little different? What I mean by that is, has the stool become hardened or less? Is it maybe like pebbles? When you're doing pericare, do you see blood or maybe some hemorrhoids? Those are all things that can happen to our residents that can cause their bowels to slow down. When their bowels slow down, the bowel becomes a little bit hardened and it's harder for them to eliminate. So it's very important that we really take constipation seriously. So if your resident has had a change in bowel, meaning they haven't had a bowel movement in a day or so, and you know they have one every day, let the nurse know. If the resident's feeling nauseated, bloated, or complaining of any of those things, you let the nurse know. And you escalate it if you need to, because this is something that can really cause them some pain. Other things that might go along with somebody being constipated is maybe they're not eating as much. You know, they're just not hungry. They haven't gone to the bathroom, they're not hungry, they're nauseous. These are all telltale signs. And then on the other side of the coin, we can have residents that start to have loose stools. Now that can mean that there could be an infection. Don't let that really get away from you though, because sometimes you can have people that are constipated that have liquid stool coming around. So I know a lot of you CNAs know what I'm talking about, but if it's a small amount, that still doesn't count as a bowel movement. So it's very, very important that not only do we tell them about all the other changes we see in the residents, but that we put their elimination patterns, whether it's urination or bowel movements, at some of the highest levels, because these are going to tell us if they have infections, if they have constipation, which can lead to fecal impaction, which can really set them up for even their bowels, what's called bowel ischemia, just meaning that it's worked so hard that that bowel starts to, you know, more or less lose blood flow and not work anymore. So it can cause surgeries, things like that, and it can really lead to a lot of life-threatening things. So we always want to make sure we take those seriously. We're notifying the nurses, we're telling the nurses the change in bowel habits, we're telling the nurses if the patient's having nausea, any throwing up. If you don't feel like you're getting what you need from that nurse, then call the director of nurses, go higher. I appreciate your time, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.